So we're going to move on. If you would like, you can stick around. We're going to talk about season 1. I think we're going to talk about season 1. That's probably the new hotness. So for anybody watching at home, let's talk a little bit about season 1 play. So essentially, FFG released, and hopefully I got the article. I think I have the article up too that we can look at. But FFG released a new go-forward plan for competitive SWU. Now, I played Destiny, so we talked a little bit about that at the beginning of the show. I played Destiny. We didn't have any of this point systems, but Destiny was always a dying game when I got into it. So I don't know what to say. Like, it is what it is. And it's funny because like people are like, oh, Bobby Sapphire is like, yeah, I remember Bobby Sapphire. He was the guy that broke droids for FFG. So like he was the one that did that. So I know who Bobby is. Like they were breaking card games back in Destiny days, and thankfully this game is not as broken as Destiny was. And I will just say, if you remember being able to play R2-D2, C-3PO, and Chopper all in one list, and then you basically could activate all 3 of your units at one time and then interact with your own dice. That was when Destiny was its like second most broken. So yeah, but we're gonna talk about season 1 for SWU. Essentially, they kind of released a organized play structure where you're going to become and get a point system. So that you can play into the Galactic Championships. Now, the first question I'm going to ask is Matt, did you get points for being in the top 8 for next year?
I did. I got 100 points, so that means I'm qualified. So that was nice, knowing that that's in the bag.
So now you don't have to play at all, right? Like you could just take a year off and come back and then hopefully be really good, right?
Right, yeah, that always works out, right? Skills don't atrophy. Knowing what's going on in the meta, that doesn't take time to catch up on. Yeah, I'll just take a vacation now. That's great.
So they essentially they're doing 3, or they have 3 different qualifying abilities. So they are not including Store Champs. Store Champs is going to be a completely casual event, which we can talk a little bit about that. I'm a little sad that Store Champs doesn't give you some points. I understand wanting to keep a casual experience for the casual player, but what it will do, in my opinion, what it's going to do is it makes Store Champs less desirable to go to unless you want those chase cards, right? Like it's great practice, but like if you were to tell me I have a planetary next week and a Store Showdown the same weekend, what do you think I'm going to attend? I'm going to attend the planetary.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I think I like having the casual piece for the casual player. I do like that, and this is where we're going to talk a little bit about the point structure and some of the issues I feel could go into this. But essentially, if you go to a regional, they're going to have a total of 3 regional events, so that's not very many. There will be 9 sector qualifiers, though, so that is, I think, 5 more than what they had last set. It's either 3 more or 5 more. I don't remember if there was 6 or 4 last set. So there is more sectors, and I hope to God we get one like in Indiana or something like that, so that me and Alex can go down to that.
Somewhere actually slightly close.
Yeah, because I drove to Richmond, just so you know. Like I drove the 12 hours to Richmond with a couple of buddies in a car. So that was one of the longest weekends of my whole life ever. And then obviously they're going to have 510 planetary qualifiers, which I think is up like 200 over what they had originally had before. So that is that part of it is exciting for it. They're all open, but they're going to change the Galactic to be invite only. Now, they did say they're still going to have a day 1 play-in, so that is still going to become a thing. So I'm happy that they're keeping that piece of it, because that's always been an FFG standard. Like back in the day, like you could play into Destiny, you could play into X-Wing, those different type of things. And that's nice to be able to give anybody that doesn't have an opportunity to grind tournament events the thing. Now let's talk a little bit about the point system here. And then we could talk about why they're giving out more than 100 points, because that's even more crazy to me, but I guess it makes sense. So for a PQ, if you win, you get 100. But then if you come in second, you only get 35. If you make top 4, you get 25. And if you make top 8, you get 15. So technically, I owned 45 points last set, I guess. So I have to do a little bit better if I want to make day one. At the sector qualifiers, they start at 250 and then they kind of go down from there. So if you make top 16, you're going to get 50 points. If you make top 8, you're automatically qualified. If you move on to the regionals, essentially, if you make top 16, you get 75, top 32, you get 50, top 25, you get, or 64, you get 25 points. So guys, what do we think about some of the points setups for this? They feel a little different, especially if you can only make so many PQs.
It's really annoying and hard to get a top 8 at a PQ. 15 points doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've probably done the math, and they're trying to control the amount of people that show up to Galactics, to Worlds, whatever we want to call it. But I don't think they have to invent the wheel here, right? Like, I mean, you have other competitive card games that you can pull information from and look at. I don't know. I've looked at it. I'm not entirely sold on it. I get what they're aiming for, I think. A PQ should always qualify you, right? A win should qualify you. And there was a point in time, in Magic the Gathering where you had your ratings, and your ratings could qualify you. And that was a good thing too, because if you played against really good competition, you only got to play a couple of events, but your rating was there, you still got invited. And I think that should be a thing too. I think you should be rewarded for high quality play. But man, that still takes a lot of top 8s to, you go to 5 top 8s. That's what, 5 times 8. Okay, that'll get you qualified, right? Okay. What, 4?
You still got to go to 5. PQs
right,
too, right?
Exactly.
That's a lot.
I went to 3, and let's just say in my old age that if I have to drive more than 3.5 hours, I get cranky. I was really disappointed with the first one that I had access to, which was the South Carolina one, because nobody's fault. The flooding hit, it washed out the interstate between how normally you usually get to South Carolina, and so what was, when I signed up for it, about a 2-hour and 20-minute drive had become a 4.5-hour drive, which I was planning on doing after I got off at work and packing. And I was just planning on it being a quick, I could either do it in the morning or a quick overnight and meet some friends down there. I didn't do well. And part of it, just poor prep on my part. I should have looked at it better and decided that that's not something I wanted to do. I only got to go to 3. The Knoxville one, which is great. I can wake up, roll out of bed, and drive down to where it was at. The South Carolina one was miserable. And even the Georgia Duluth one, that's about right there at the limit. I went and stayed with a friend the night before to cut it in half. But I get where you guys are complaining. I would, hopefully there's more access for people, but I don't think the points do exactly what they want them to do yet. But, it's season 1. So, hopefully, I feel like my experience with FFG is they're learning from stuff. Everybody kind of gives me a side eye when I say that. So maybe they don't, but I feel like my experience so far, they have been.
Yeah, they 100% have definitely been. They've changed things a lot quicker than they used to in the past, comparatively. I mean, like Alex and I both come from X-Wing. Alex longer than I have, and they're listening a million times more than they ever have. We'll put it that way. Ever.
That's a win.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I guess technically I went to Richmond, so I guess I would have gotten like another 25 points, but still, like those were like long grindy days, and it just, like, I understand trying to limit this. I think the bigger thing is the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is you get to continue to add points, right? And then whoever has the top amount of points are going to be given flights and hotel rooms to Galactics next year. Now, while that's great, and I understand the logic of that, like, you want to grind and do all these things, you're going to. I will tell you, being in a PQ and then like having the play experience of having to play Raytan twice and losing both times to him and getting knocked out, like, I lost my last chance to win a PQ, and therefore, like, now all of a sudden I'm spending all this money, and like, so now the problem is they're now incentivizing people to do that, and I'm not a big fan of that part of it. Like, I understand, like let's play on a competitive level, right? Like let's continue to do things very competitively. But the biggest issue I have is like, so now you can go to these PQs and you can just run the gambit on them. You just hit all of them. I'm going to go to all these. I'm going to hit top on all of this. I'm going to knock all these other people down. And then I get my free flight and my free hotel room. And what it does is it feels like it makes it a little bit more exclusionary. And for those of you who don't have kids, like it makes it even easier because you just be gone every weekend. Like I was asked, hey, are you going to join the circuit? Like I was literally asked, are you going to go to this one over here in Iowa? And I'm like, no, like I live in Michigan and I have 4 kids. Like this was like a stretch to come here. You know, like if I were single, sure, if I were single, that's probably what I would do is I would actually figure out where people live and go to people's houses because I could just work remotely most of the time. And I would just work remotely. And then I would just go to every PQ every weekend and have fun. But I'm not single, so it does not work for my life that way. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So now let's talk a little bit about, you know, like the points accumulations. Like, is this something, you know, that's worthwhile? Is it something? I mean, especially for you who've already made a top 4, is that an encouragement to go to more PQs this season?
I'll answer first. No, for the same reason for you. Part of the reason why my test system, the way I approach the format has always been, you know, I have a kiddo, right? I have a family, and they're important. You know, no card game should be more important than your family. And it's one of those things where, you know, even then I was probably reaching borderline when I was testing for Galactics, but, you know, they were gracious. They understood that it was important to me, and they gave me the little extra time and space for that. But that's not something I want to do every weekend. I don't mind getting on and testing. In fact, I think that's part of it. I try to play at least a couple of games every day, and I try to make them purposeful. But, you know, there's going to be some people that can capitalize on it. But every system, you can't design a perfect system. And I know that from project management. You're just not going to design a perfect one. I do think there's certain things you aim for, and you tweak the system to make sure you're going for your aims and your goals. I was hoping that, you know, like with, you know, if you'd done great at Worlds and Magic, you know, you were set. You know, that's one of those things there. So, you know, the fact that I still have to play and hopefully, you know, do a little bit better to keep the point totals up, that's one thing. Is it going to incentivize me to do that? No, I'll probably still go to the ones that I can. I'm not going to really push hard to go to ones that I can't, because, you know, I don't want to overstretch the family. You know, it's one of those things there. It makes regionals and sectors more appealing. That'll be honest. I didn't go to Richmond because, you know, that's a longer drive. It was a commitment. It was last minute when I found out about it. I probably could have made it work, but, you know, I didn't want to do that. It was just too rushed at the moment. Old age has made me want to be more of a planner and a preparer. So, not to get off on too much of a tangent here, it will. The younger players that can go everywhere and travel, it will incentivize them, I think. And that's great. For those of us that have set responsibilities and duties, I don't think it changes much for us. Because, you know, using what did you say you'd end up with? About 90 points if they had awarded points last time, which was still 10 points short of the goal. So maybe it does incentivize you to see if you can get one more swing at it. But, you know, I don't think it changes your overall approach on things, nor would it change mine. Other than I'll probably try, if possible, to make a regional if it's within reach.
Fair enough. Alex, how about you?
I am single and don't have like a family or stuff to do stuff, but I'm like broke. So I also just can't go.
We forgot to mention something, huh? My bad.
Yeah, I just don't have the money to drive out and do all these things. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad they increased the number of PQs and all that stuff. So like we can kind of do more, but also like that's a lot of commitment. To like go and try to grind out all these points and then have the money to do that and the time and all that stuff. So I'm not apprehensive. It's just like it's a lot.
Fair enough. The last thing to talk about season 1 is they are now introducing a new type of event, a draft event. And I'll be honest, I'm a little excited about that. I'm sad because the first one in our area for a PQ is at Chicago. And it's the same day as the one in Whitmore Lake. right? And so it's a little bit hard for me to want to go. I have another circumstance too, but it's a little bit hard for me to want to miss out on one I can drive like an hour and a half to 2 hours to, and then go 3.5 hour drive, right? Like it's a little bit hard for me to want to do that. And for like Alex, it makes zero sense to drive all the way the fuck up into Chicago when he's got 1.5 hour from his house, you know? But they're going to do the same thing. They haven't released how the points are going to work. I'm assuming they'll be the same, or how the whole event will work. And that's why I want to go really bad. And I hope, like, I'm actually hoping maybe Evolution Games, theirs will change in Lansing, and maybe it'll become like a draft one, or maybe a sealed. I don't care which. Actually, I really like a sealed better. Like that one actually feels better than a draft.
I love sealed so much. It's my favorite. Second favorite format now, I guess, behind trilogy. But
yeah,
weird. And
we might get a trilogy event at some point. And I'll be honest with you, I think trilogy event would be like they should award more points for that. Like, give me a trilogy PQ. Let's do that, baby, and let's like double the points. Like give me that, because like that's like the ultimate. I know how to build decks and play into the meta type thing. Like that's like you could even kill sideboards for all I give a shit. Just give me. We
don't have sideboards in trilogy.
Oh, okay, even better then. I thought you did have sideboards.
No,
we don't have sideboards?
You have to win with both decks, so like you never have a chance to side in stuff.
Yeah, man. So Trench, Iden. Yeah. Let's see here. Trench, Iden. Who else
they
are we
share
gonna play?
Vigilance, though. You can't do that.
All right. We need
but it's like Trench by Kaz Blue, and I can do like my Ray Blue. Oh, well, that's got Vigilance.
No, that's got Vigilance.
I can do so many things with trilogy. It's so silly because my decks are just all over the place.
We can
play every style.
Pelp Tarkentown, Kaz Blue, and Trench. There you go. Like, now you've got the gambit. Do you want hard control, or do you want to face aggro, or do you want to face my soft control that gives you a middle finger every day?
If I presented like both Trench and Palpatine to my opponent, and they're my local, I think they just give up the round. I don't think they choose. You don't understand this Trench deck. It doesn't play the game. The win con is your opponent just ran out of cards to play. It doesn't it tries to mill. It doesn't always mill. It just like stalls until you have no deck, and I have infinite deck because I have triple restock.
Yeah, think of it this way, Matt. It's Iden Blue, like the Iden Blue from set 1 and 2. It's like that, but worse. It just says like, I'm going to literally spend 30 minutes making you do absolutely nothing, and I don't have to mill you if I don't want to. I'm just literally going to make you do nothing. Now I will say it does not super like that Han Ford deck as much. Yeah.
It main decks triple out maneuvers and triple entrenched and triple frozen.
Yeah. So anyway, let's not talk about our trench deck for a million hours.
You can system shock your own ship, right? You just have to take a point of damage. So we've got more removal now than we did.
That's true.
Damn it! All right, hold on. We're gonna cut that piece out of this episode. I don't want people to think about that.
Just play a fine edition. Just throw it right back on. Easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's kind of our discussion on season 1.